So it's actually 11:45 here in Australia, but I thought I'd bring you this update because I'm a night owl. I do have to apologise though because I'm recording this directly onto my phone without any of my good studio quality gear, so the audio will be not as good as usual. The decision to make this on my phone comes from the fact that the dogs have already settled themselves in for the night, and if I get up and head into the studio to record, they're all going to get up and come with me, and that's just a bit unfair for them. So it seems that the Mounties have been paying attention to our slightly disgruntled comments over the last couple of weeks. And it's fair enough because it's been over a month since we've had any updates from them. So I was just scrolling through Facebook, as you do when you should be actually trying to get to sleep, and I spotted a post from the Mounties which popped up, and it said that it had come up like 4 minutes ago. And I thought, okay, well, I'll do that in the morning. But like I said, I'm a night owl, so I figured I might as well just do it now. Now, because we are in bed, essentially, you're going to hear Amira's snoring even louder than usual because she's directly behind me. You may also hear Taka over at the end of the bed snoring also. So like I said, it seems that the Mounties have actually stopped and paid attention to the number of extremely unhappy people who are desperately calling out for some sort of update. And that is exactly what they have done. So I'm going to read through it for you and maybe add a few little bits of commentary along the way. So we have intensive investigation into disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. Just in case we thought they weren't actually still doing anything. I know there's been a lot of people who have been debating whether or not the Mounties had let this go cold. So here is your answer. News release, July 16, 2025, Lansdowne Station, Nova Scotia. From Nova Scotia RCMP. We'll skip to the actual text. Nova Scotia RCMP's intensive investigation into the disappearance of Lily and Jack Sullivan continues. So I noticed they put intensive investigation. They want people to be really, really clear of the fact that they are definitely working their butts off on this. The investigative team in the Northeast Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit is leading the investigational efforts under the Missing Persons Act. They are assisted by RCMP units in Nova Scotia, New Brunswick and Ontario, along with the National Centre for Missing Persons, Canadian Centre for Child Protection, and provincial and municipal police agencies from Nova Scotia and other parts of Canada. So they've got a heck of a lot of agencies working this case. So they really are working hard on this, and I think we will hopefully see a resolution. Their efforts include reviewing approximately 5,000 video files that have been obtained through a video canvas of Lansdowne Station and the surrounding areas. That sounds massive, but I would imagine that amongst them you have your trail cameras, and now I'm not hugely familiar with trail cameras, but I would imagine that they would record so much, put that into a file, and then start recording again. A bit like dash cam kind of footage where it'll record 5 minutes and then start a new recording so that you don't have massive files. It sounds huge, but I think what we have to consider here is there's probably a lot of trail cam footage there as well. But that's still impressive. Assessing more than 600 tips from the public formally interviewing more than 60 people. So the numbers have gone up. Maybe they got hold of Dimwit Darren, including the administration of polygraph to some individuals. Forensic examination of materials located through ground and air searches in Lansdowne Station, including a pink blanket that officers seized on Lansdowne Road. And that right there is a direct response to the misinformation that's been going around. So it seems that they are either paying attention to the complete utter BS that's going on online, or someone has contacted them and directly and said, hey, listen, can you please clear up some of this? Because we had the story that the pink blanket was found in a bin at the house, and that there was a piece of the blanket found by searchers. But there you have it, directly from the Mounties. It was seized on Lansdowne Road. Although wording it as seized on Lansdowne Road, that could actually mean seized from the house, couldn't it? So there is a pink blanket, and they are doing forensic examinations on that and other materials that were located during the ground search. Now, this one's interesting too. Submitting judicial authorisations to seize and examine materials and devices that may provide information useful to the investigation. So I did a video a little while back where I was having a look specifically at the Missing Persons Act and explaining all the things that it allows them to do, which is basically a lot of what they've explained here. So it sounds like they really are going hard at this investigation, and it certainly does sound like they are treating it as a criminal investigation. Anyone who continues to say that it's not, honestly, I don't know what to say, because I don't think anything will convince you. Right now, there are more than 800 tasks associated to this investigation, says Senior Sergeant Rob McCammon, Officer in Charge, Acting, Major Crime and Behavioural Sciences. God, I hope he doesn't have to write all that when he signs his name. Can you imagine that? A tremendous amount of careful, deliberate, investigative work is underway by people here at home and in other parts of Canada. Our collective efforts will continue every day until we determine with certainty the circumstances surrounding Lily and Jack's disappearance. So what they're telling us there is that they are waiting on the results of testing, forensic testing, digital analysis. Some of these things, when it comes to digital analysis, can take a really, really long time. But this last part, until we determine with certainty the circumstances surrounding Lily and Jack's disappearance, that to me translates to essentially until we have enough evidence to make an arrest. So I think possibly people should be starting to feel a bit nervous about now, because it seems that the Mounties are definitely closing in. I would say that there will be a point when the forensics come in, when all the digital evidence comes in, and then we're going to see an arrest. Hopefully we will also see Jack and Lily being found. Investigators encourage anyone with specific information on the whereabouts of Lily and Jack is asked to call the North East Nova RCMP Major Crime Unit. And you've got all that stuff down the bottom. So definitely, this is definitely a response to the public's reaction over the lack of anything from the Mounties. And I did see someone on Facebook trying to start a petition against the RCMP to make them investigate this case. And given that it appears that that person is not familiar with how investigations are run, they've not followed other cases in the past, I can sort of understand where they're coming from by trying to make a petition. But at the same time, maybe people should be a little bit less pig-headed and pay attention to the people that actually are trying to give explanations as to why we are not hearing much or why there hasn't been any arrest yet. Honestly, quite often with cases like this, silence is a good thing. And from reading this, it seems to me that this is not about them putting a release out because they need more tips, they need more information from the public to know where they're going. Instead, this actually sounds like they really are reacting to people in public who have been complaining about the lack of information, people who've been making these accusations about the Mounties not doing their job and how this is going to be a cold case and all that sort of stuff. So I do feel positive from reading this, and I do feel that essentially what they're telling us here is be patient, wait for the forensics to come back, wait for all the digital analyses and stuff to come back, and then we might actually see some progress happening. Of course, you can bet that all the channels that are having a field day and making a bucket load of money out of their ridiculous stories will ignore this update and basically just keep sharing their little narrative to entertain their fan fiction friends. So on that note, thanks for listening. If you are new to my channel, please subscribe. I can reassure you that the audio is usually better quality than this, and the dog snores aren't usually quite as loud. Also, please hit that like button. Please leave a comment below also. Doing those two things helps my channel. It gets my content out there into the algorithm, and it gets my content seen by more people. So thank you, and I will catch you in the next one.